talking to you from Palm Beach. I'm getting my mojo back. Let's talk about things you could do other than drugs to treat depression. Let's first talk about supplements, and then I want to go through everything you need. There's about 8 things. The first one is vitamin D3. These are in order of their importance. Vitamin D3 with K1 and K2 is probably the most important thing you could do, supplement you could take. It is a hormone, so it is extremely powerful. People with vitamin D3 are less depressed. Vitamin D3 helps produce serotonin. It decreases inflammation. It is involved with calcium absorption into the bones, and it's absorbed with cardiovascular and clotting cascades. So vitamin D3 is given with K1 and K2. Take 5,000 international units in the morning. It is a little activating. You can also increase vitamin D3 by going in the sun. I'll get into that a little bit later. But for the purposes of depression, the most important thing you can do is take vitamin D3 with K1 and K2, 5,000 international units a day. The second thing is L-Methyl Folate. L-Methyl Folate is a form of folate. It's B9, vitamin B9. It's a B vitamin. It is involved in the precursors of serotonin and dopamine. It's pivotal. That's why it's number 2 on my list. It has a brand name, Deplin. You can go on Amazon and buy it. At 15 milligrams a day in the morning, it's activating. That will boost serotonin and dopamine, neurotransmitters involved in depression. The next, third most important thing, so vitamin D3 with K1 and K2, L-Methyl Folate. The third being omega-3s. That's what's in fish, algae. Omega-3s, you want to get one that has more EPA than DHA. Those are types of omega-3s. There's another one, ALA, which is not as important. Remember, the brain is 60% fat. So with omega-3s, we take about 2 grams a day. Nordic Naturals is the one I use. I don't promote any products or do any promos for any company. What this does, it increases signaling of dopamine and norepinephrine, decreases inflammation, helps with the cell membranes in the brain, but also there's something unique about omega-3s. They affect a growth factor, BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which increases nerve cell formation. So it is extremely important. Number 4 on my list is S-Adenosyl L methionine. So it's called SAMe. And what SAMe does is increase neurotransmitters. It protects the cell membrane. It increases signaling of these neurotransmitters and decreases inflammation. You take that about 800 milligrams a day. So D3, L-Methyl Folate, omega-3s, and something called SAMe. The next one is magnesium. Magnesium is interesting because it's an element, but this element has a calming effect. And what this element does, magnesium, is it blocks the NMDA receptor, N-methyl D-aspartate receptor. That's the same receptor that's involved in glutamate. That's the same receptor involved in S-ketamine. That's the same receptor involved in Auvelity, which has dextromethorphan. By blocking the NMDA receptor, you decrease the reactivity and the activity of excitatory glutamate. Here's the thing with magnesium. I use a product called Magnesium Breakthrough. You buy it on Amazon. You can buy it wherever you want. But it's a combination of magnesium L-threonate, that one crosses the blood-brain barrier. Magnesium glycinate, that is a combination of magnesium and glycine, which is the most common one used. There's magnesium oxide, magnesium tartrate, magnesium citrate. Magnesium citrate, be careful with that one because it causes diarrhea and loose stool, and they use that for bowel prep. So I've talked about a bunch of magnesium. There's magnesium oxide. It's magnesium with oxygen. But for the purposes here today, by Magnesium Breakthrough, which is a 500 milligram formulation of magnesium L-threonate, glycinate, and I think it's magnesium chloride. The next one on my list is zinc. Zinc at about 20 milligrams a day increases the production of dopamine and serotonin. It decreases inflammation, protects neurons, stress modulation, but also something that zinc does, it's called plasticity, the ability of neurons to change how they interact with one another, how they grow, and how they interconnect. There are other honorable mention here, but I would throw them in. B1, which is thiamine, which is involved in a neural formation of the sheath of the neuron. A neuron is like the cell body, and then like a cable connecting the cell body to called an axon. It helps in insulating the axon. B6 is pyridoxone, is involved in hundreds of cofactors of the nerves, and B12, which is cobalamin. B9 is folate. You're getting that with the L-Methyl Folate. Honorable mention here, but I don't give these to patients. I think you could. It's not my thing. Saffron is a very expensive spice, but it's neuroprotective, increases neural growth, neural signaling, neuroplasticity, neurogenesis, so how the neurons interact, their signaling, how they grow, how they interconnect. Saffron is very expensive. It's like, I think it's $10 to $30 a gram. But at 30 milligrams a day, you could use saffron. There's something called rhodiola. There's something called N-acetylcysteine you could use. St. John's wort or salvia. That's a plant. So they're all good. I wouldn't say they're good. I recommend the 7 things I recommend. These are honorable mention. Maybe you want to use them, maybe you don't. Now, the next thing, number 2, besides the supplements, besides D3, L-Methyl Folate Omega 3, SAMe, magnesium, zinc, and the B vitamins, what's next? Sunlight. Well, you said, hey doc, you said take vitamin D3, isn't that from sunlight? Here's the thing. When people had COVID, they said, wow, the people with vitamin D3 high levels did better than people who didn't. Let's give people D3. Didn't work. You know why it didn't work? Because pure sunlight does something for you other than D3. I'm not sure what it is, but it's critical in improving your mood. Get sunlight every day. The next thing is exercise. You need about 30 minutes of exercise. Here's what I tell my patients. Put on exercise clothes. Go for a walk when the sun is coming up. There's something about sunrise, which is the best sun of the day for you. So I say, go for a 15-minute walk. Walk from your house to a point 15 minutes away. Time it the first day. Then from there on, mark the point you got to in 15 minutes. A house, a mailbox, a street, some tree, and then walk back. Do that every day. The best exercise is walking. After that, yeah, going to the gym, lifting weights, aerobic exercise, get into it. But I think to start, just go for a 15-minute walk at sunrise and a 15-minute walk back. What about diet? Diet's key. It's number 4 on my list. Let's not get complicated here. Meat, poultry, pork, chicken, fatty fish like salmon, sardines, mackerel, tuna, vegetables, fruits, seeds, nuts, butter, eggs. Make that 90% of your diet. What you shouldn't eat is just as important as what you should eat. When I tell people no alcohol, listen, everything I'm talking about here becomes pointless if you think you're going to drink. Even 1 drink a day, 1 sip. No. No sugar. Alcohol's a sugar. Sugar is sugar. Flour. White flour is sugar. Don't eat white flour, potatoes, rice, alcohol. No. I would keep away from tobacco. Nicotine might not be bad, but all the contaminants and carcinogens in tobacco is a nightmare. So diet, what you should do also with diet, no processed foods, no fast food. Processed food is something in a package like a fast food, a canned food, a pre-made food, fast food. It's a nightmare. Keep away from it. The next thing, mindfulness. What does that mean? Live the moment. All you have is right now. Enjoy what you're doing at the moment you're doing it. That's mindfulness. The next thing would be you have to maintain social contacts. It's critical. And then, with social contacts, make sure they're healthy social contacts. And then therapy, 1 hour of talking to someone a week, 1 to 2 hours, it makes a world of difference. So these are all the things you could do. Supplements, sun, exercise, diet, mindfulness, social contacts, therapy. All those things, I would say, added up together are more powerful. They probably are more powerful than the most powerful antidepressant. I use antidepressants, but this would set the stage to do everything you could do before you go to an antidepressant. And anyone with depression, this is the formula you need to do.